Good morning, my loves. Welcome back. So today we're going to talk about synastry overlays, and we are going to focus on the sun. So what does it mean if we find your sun in your partner's first, second, third, and so on house, or the other way around? What does it mean if your partner's sun is in your first house, second house, third house, fourth house, and so on? Well, first of all, let's clarify, what is the sun? The sun is your guiding light. It's your, it is how you shine your light into the world, right? It's your uniqueness. It's part of your unique gift that you have to give. So our sun in our partner's house means that that's where we light up our partner's life, right? This is the area where we truly light up our partner's life. And this is also the area where sometimes, depending on if there are attachment issues, our partner can jump onto our light and use our light to shine, which we don't want, because we want them to shine their light, right? So it can be a little tricky depending on which house the sun falls. It can be the other way around as well, right? Where our partner's sun falls into one of our houses, where we then jump onto their sun and then we use their sun to shine. And if we mistake their sun for our sun, that's when we can run into issues. But let's look at it from each house perspective. So if the sun, let's say your sun, falls into your partner's first house, what often happens is that you light the way for them, which is one of the tricky houses, right? Because we can help other people to move forward, of course, but we need to make sure that they don't lose themselves in that, right? And that can happen with the sun in the first house sometimes, where the partner loses the connection to their own sun, and then they jump onto ours, and then they mistake our sun for their sun. And, you know, that's when we can run into issues. But of course, we can also look at it from a more positive perspective, from a perspective of higher frequency, higher energy, where our light can actually help the partner to connect with their light. And we see that a lot, actually. I've seen this a lot in charts where the sun of one person falls into the first house of the other person, and the other person actually found a way through the light of the partner to connect with their own light. They couldn't really see their own light before. It was like, you know, buried under a lot of stuff. They were able to find their own light and find their unique direction, because the sun is going to shine really bright in that area. And again, the first house is the house of direction. It is life direction, but it is also our identity. And we need to make sure that we do not take on someone else's identity and mistake it for ours. The partner sun in the second house is also a very interesting one. This can manifest in the way where our partner can help us really go deep and understand our own values better, right? It's almost like this, the partner shines a light up onto our values, but also our valuables. What happens here sometimes is that through the partner we get to see our true values, or of course another manifestation is also that we take on the partner's values, right? The sun is a very, very, very big influence in the birth chart, right? In our own birth chart, our own sun, but also the partner sun. Whoever partner we are with, their sun will be a big influence in our lives, a big influence. So if it's in the second house, again, it's all about values, but also worthiness is going to be a big topic here, right? And yes, of course, money. Yeah, second house, the house of money. This can mean that the partner can help us see clearer in terms of how we make money, how we generate money. But it can also mean that the partner can help us make money through the partner. So that basically the partner bringing it, right? Bringing money. Also remember, the sun stands for healing. We can heal ourselves with light, right? There's lightness, with seeing our own lightness, seeing our own light. And the partner sun can help us with that. But it can also, again, be the other way around, where we get a little too dependent. So we have to be very, very, very conscious here. The sun is also consciousness, right? It's a reminder of consciousness. Stay conscious of yourself, your own energies, and what you bring, your unique gifts. So utilize the partner sun in the way where it can actually help guide you. It can help find your own light, tap into your own light, or it can blind you. And then you don't see your own light and you just see the partners, right? So you have to become very aware with the sun. The sun is often underestimated when we look at overlays. We think the moon is super important, which it is. We think Venus is super important, which it is. But the sun, my friend, the sun is where it's at on the consciousness level. So be very aware where your partner sun falls in your chart, and become aware what it does with you, right? What the sun does with you there. Then the sun in the partner's third house is generally a lighter expression. It tells us a lot about the way we communicate. Again, here the partner can help us either find our own way of communicating, or we depend very much on the partner to do the talking for us. This can also happen in this relationship. So become aware where you're at and actually what you want. You know, sometimes we might be absolutely okay with that, and we want that. We want that the partner speaks for us. You know, especially people that are in a very classic relationship, a traditional relationship. The woman sometimes, she likes that. And it's not that she means less because of it, or she's worthless because of it. No, she likes that the husband speaks for her. She likes that. And we need to allow that as well, and not look at it as ancient and, not feminist enough. Some people want that, and it's good for them, and they should have it. But just understand what is true for you. What is true for you? What is important for you? When it comes to communicating in the relationship, this is actually a beautiful placement because it brings a lot of light in it and a lot of consciousness. So we can have a lot of, very animated conversations. This is also a relationship where communication is fun. You know, you want to communicate. It's a big, big part of your relationship, the way you communicate with each other. And there will probably not be a dull moment when it comes to communicating. Communication is a high priority in this partnership. Now, the sun in the fourth house, again, one of the most beautiful placements in synastry, in my opinion. When the sun comes into the fourth house, or one partner's sun comes into the other partner's fourth house, it's the sun person literally brings the light into the home, right? The home is going to be a much lighter place. It's going to be a focus, right? Privacy and home and family is going to be a focus here. And also what I see here is that the sun partner can help us see stuff that needs to be worked out when it comes to inner child work, stuff that happened in the family. We are able to see things clearer in our own family, in our own lineage, in our own family history that needs to work out, that needs to be made conscious and resolved. It's a wonderful placement, really beautiful placement, in both ways. If you're the sun or if the partner is the sun, you both will benefit greatly from this placement, or having this placement. Similarly but different, sun in the fifth house, wonderful placement for the sun to be in the partner's house. Again, for both perspectives. If you are the house person, if you're the sun person, beautiful. Oh, I love this. I love this. I love this. And not just for romantic relationships, but especially for romantic relationships. This is a placement where you both thrive and you both you love being around each other. You love being with each other. And this is also a relationship that will be able to keep the romance for a long time. This is not a placement where we have a lot of romance in the beginning and then whoop, it all like vanishes and flows away. Romance is going to be an integral part of the relationship. And generally the sun person will bring it, but the house person is also very animated, also very creative energy here, where we probably want to have children with each other, but also where we want to create something, right? If it's not children, we want to create something with each other. Also playfulness, this is a very playful energy, I think I mentioned that before, where we want to have a good time with each other, and we will most likely have a good time with each other. This is similar, this reminds me a little bit on the placement of the sun in composite, where we have the composite sun in the 5th house. It's a bit of that energy, not to the full extent, but you know, it's similar. Then the sun in the 6th house, with everything with the 6th house is always a little trickier because it's the 6th house. This energy the sun or the partner's sun lights up our 6th house. So everything that is 6th house related will be lit up and will come to the surface. And sometimes this can feel a little tricky because it's the house of health, right? And so the partner can light up this area and bring to the surface a lot of stuff that is unhealthy within us. But on the bright side, this is a beautiful placement to heal, right? But the healing usually comes through a bit of pain. You know, there will be things we have to look at that we do not want to look at. Also, this can be a placement that relates to service, where one person is serving the other more. So there is often a bit of an imbalance in this relationship. But again, you have to ask yourself, what is important to me? What do I like? Do I want a classic relationship? Do I want a traditional relationship? Probably in a more traditional relationship, this tends to work a little easier. Not always, there's always exceptions, of course, but it can, because this can be a relationship where one is the giver and one is the taker. Especially if we look at it from the perspective of like masculine, feminine, where the husband is the provider and the woman is staying at home, taking care of the children, taking care of the house. This can be a relationship where this placement actually works better. But yeah, it can be a bit of a tricky placement, because the sun can bring to light things that we don't want to see. You know, we liked it under the carpet, and now it's, you know, the carpet is taken away, and now we have to look at it and we have to decide what we do with it. Are we going to clean it? Are we going to put it away? What are we going to do with it? Then the sun in the partner's 7th house. This is a placement that can be wonderful, but it can also be a placement where we feel like we lose ourselves. And this is due to the partner bringing their sun into the area of relationship. And like in the 1st house, it's a bit similar here, where this is not so much about direction, whereas the 1st house is more about direction, our direction in life. This is more about our identity in the relationship. We kind of feel like we lose our identity in the relationship because the other one shines so brightly. So this is not always the case that it manifests in that way, but it can manifest in that way. It can also manifest in the way where we actually revel in the light of the other, right? Their personality is so big and they shine their personality upon us, and we take it, we enjoy it, you know, we revel in it. This is obviously a bit of a healthier manifestation, because, you know, we see the beauty in it, we see the goodness in it, we see that it actually can help us shine as well, right? We use their light and we shine, but again, we have to be careful that we don't lose our own light, through that, because we get lost in the other person's light. And then eventually after, 10 years, 20 years, we wonder, well, who are we? Like, who are we? What's left of us? Again, the sun is a big deal. The sun is a big deal in relationships. Eighth house, very, very focused on inner child work. So when the partner's sun comes into our eighth house, or when our sun comes into partner's eighth house, we deal with a lot of demons here. And by demons, I mean we deal with a lot of stuff that we, we didn't think we had to deal with. We thought we left it in the past, right? But it's usually the stuff that we haven't really fully left in the past. We kind of dragged it with us, but we didn't really look at it because it was behind us. Now the light is there, and we can't help but look. And now we got to deal with it. So this is a kind of like not really a continuation of the seventh house energy, but more, it goes deeper, right? It goes really deep. It goes into the deep end. It goes to the core programming of ours that we have, right? There's this, the sun partner will bring up probably all of our limiting ideas of life, our shadow self, the stuff that we always blame others upon, where we're like, oh, this person is like this and I don't really like it, but it's all inside of us as well. Our partner will shine a light on that. And this is a relationship that can, you have to be strong to endure that, to endure the constant having to look at your issues. This is a relationship where we will have to look at the issues. And it's mainly the house person, but because energies flow both ways, the sun person can also be reminded on their issues through that, right? Because the house person will reflect back the sun, right? The light. So the sun person shines the light upon the house person now sees all their stuff that they don't really want to see, but now it's there. And then the house person will reflect back a lot. So both people will deal with their deeper, darker inner wounding in this relationship. And it can be a bit of a difficult placement here, but it can also be a very rewarding placement, because we learn so much and we grow so much through that. Then the sun in the partner's ninth house, beautiful placement again, much lighter. This is a placement where we tend to want to explore the world, explore life in a broader sense. The tricky thing here can be religion, different religions, where we might have to open our mind in a way that we weren't ready to open our mind to. And also in when we look at it just from the perspective of looking into the world in a certain way, belief systems, the partner can really show us where we've been limited in our belief system, right? Where our beliefs have limited us in living a bigger life. And that eventually will be rewarding in most cases, but it can also feel a little daunting for some people. And depending on where you're at in life, you might be more challenged by your partner, when it comes to certain beliefs or what you believe. And I see different religions coming together as probably the biggest challenge in this placement, or that this placement can bring up. But again, it can be rewarding, right? If we are open enough to expand our belief system, expand our horizon. Sun in partner's 10th house, this is a placement that can open us up to a new way of doing things. This can also open us up to our actual purpose in life. Our partner can really shine a light upon that. Maybe we've been in a profession that we've just done it to make money, but it doesn't really light us up. Now the partner brings the sun and shines the light, and now we realize, damn, that is not what I actually want to do. I want to do something completely different. It can also be a placement where we meet the partner or this particular partner in a professional setting. This can be a placement where we work together, where we enjoy working together. This is again, because it falls in, it's because it's an angular house. This is often a relationship that has major impact on our life in all parts of life. Especially, if this is a partner that makes us see that what we've done for the past 10, 15, 20 years was a bit of a waste of time. To an extent, right? This is extreme, right? Nothing is ever really a waste of time because we always learn something. But, maybe we realized, fuck, our purpose is somewhere else. And we've been, wasting our time here. Now, what you do, if that's the case, you look at what you've done and you see what you've learned and how this can now help you in your actual purpose. The 10th house is midday. It's where the sun is the brightest. So this really is where, when the partner brings the sun into this area, the sun is the brightest. Nothing is hidden there. The sun is shining into every corner of our lives, and we will have to deal with a lot of stuff that, again, maybe we didn't really think we need to deal with, because it wasn't really important until that partner showed us that it actually is important for us. Sun in the partner's 11th house is a placement where we often start out as friends, and if you don't start out as friends, we enjoy it. We enjoy the friendship part very much, even if this is a romantic relationship. This is also a placement where we like to find a common purpose, helping others. Often in our friendship group, we are usually the couple that is setting up, all the plans. Like, it's the couple that says, okay, we're going to go here, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And if you haven't been that person before you were in that couple with that person, then now you will be, right? This reminds me again also on the placement of the sun in the composite 11th house. It brings in a similar energy. Generally, this is like a placement where we as a house person all of a sudden want to have a bigger purpose in life. We want to not just do things to make money. We want to have a bigger purpose. We want to have a bigger impact. And we realize that through the sun person. But mainly for me, this is a placement where we are friends. We will also be friends after we, if we decide not to continue in a romantic relationship, we generally stay friends. This is one of those placements where the sun is very strong and the friendship is stronger than any other issue we could have probably had in the relationship. Then last but not least, everyone's favorite, the sun in the 12th house. Now, like with everything in the 12th house, I always say that rather tricky placement for a romantic relationship in particular, because of the lack of groundedness that we generally have in this, specifically when you have the sun. The sun lighting up the 12th house is going to light up the good, the bad, the ugly. And I mean that in every sense. This is certainly a relationship where we learn, maybe not the most, but more than in most other relationships, if we can become conscious, right? Because the 12th house entails everything. The 12th house entails all the life lessons and then some. And we are talking about all the life lessons that we had in the real world, right? In the life that we've had, but also when it comes to our spiritual essence. So the sun here touches all parts of us. And it can be actually a very healing, spiritually healing placement, but it tends to be difficult to find common ground in in the here and now. In the here and now, meaning the reality, the 3D reality, finding common ground there. I always say personal planets in the 12th house, in the partner's 12th house, or the partner's personal planets in our 12th house is a beautiful placement for a couple that wants to live an alternative lifestyle. A couple that wants to live the 9 to 5, they might have much more difficulty with this placement. The good is going to show up mainly in alternative lifestyles. The bad and the ugly is going to show up more in the classic 9 to 5 kind of traditional relationship, because the 12th house wants to show you what else is there, the bigger picture, the things beyond the 3D. But we tend to, you know, especially if we live a 9 to 5, we are very much at home in the 3D, in the consensus reality. And this couple doesn't do well in the consensus reality. Because here we are asked to see beyond, you know, but we still have to live in the 3D, even though we are asked to see beyond, because the sun is lighting up the thing we can't name, the thing we can't touch, the thing that is not tangible. And that's where the issue comes in. Like I always say, perfect for the couple that wants to live an alternative lifestyle, you know, being yoga teachers in Bali, or being, you know, opening a bar in Costa Rica, like doing something that has a connection to divinity, to nature as a whole, and to something that is different, like doing things outside the box, doing things in a way that the mainstream wouldn't approve of. Then this placement can work, actually can work well. But in the consensus reality, you know, you having a job at the bank, they having a job at the supermarket, wherever, where you have to be on time, where you have to go every day, you have to be there. You know, that we will fight it. We will fight the sun in that regard, because the sun here says, okay, look at the other possibilities, look at what else is out there, look at all of that. And you're like, yeah, but I live here, how do I do all that? So yeah, anyways, a lot of lessons in the 12th house, a lot of lessons in every area, but the 12th house, yeah, 12th house, 6th house, 8th house, I think probably the most difficult placements for this. And when I say difficult, I'm not saying it's not possible to have a beautiful relationship, of course, but there, you know, you just have to be aware of the triggers here and the lessons to be learned. So I hope this was insightful. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you want to book a reading, click on the link in the description box. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, send me an email. We can have a little chat together and see what your needs are and what you know, where you want to grow and where you might want some guidance. And other than that, yeah, have a beautiful day, and I see you in the next video. Bye.